is indeed a pleasure and a privilege to be part of this August gathering. When I look at startups, one thought that immediately comes to my mind is any business for that matter, it is not that simple. And in the process, I felt during the pandemic that I should also document what I have felt. And hence, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that I wrote a book known as Sugar and Spice and Everything That's Not So Nice. This was actually a serial entrepreneur's journey of startups. I wrote this book after having been an investment banker for 20 years in the corporate world, having been a startup specialist and a mentor capitalist for the last 20 years, and having set up about 15 startups, sold 9, lost in 3, running 3. And what I felt was that startups is exciting. But as my book indicated, it's sugar and spice and everything that's not so nice, even in the startup world. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. After all, as Jaspreet rightly stated, we are here for networking, for increasing our net worth directly or indirectly, create value, have valuation, and as a result, enhance our wealth and enhance the wealth in the country, for the society, and for the people who are actively involved in it. Let me get back to my favorite passion for the last 20 years, startups. What is a startup? A startup is something where you're looking at something which is new, something which has not been attempted, or if it has been attempted, you do something different. And more importantly, you're doing something with a differentiator. You have what is termed as a unique selling proposition in the startup. In the process, we are creating a new name for ourselves. We are in the world of disruption. Disruption, not for the sake of disrupting practices, but for the real reason of creating something new. We want to change the old form. Change is an inspiring constant. And what we do is, in a startup, we think of breaking myths. We think of shattering glass ceilings. We tell ourselves, in the age of internet and Google, no country is lacking information. And the difference between the developed nations and the developing nations is getting significantly reduced by the hour. Information transmission is in a split second. Or maybe on the contrary, we have information overhand. We need to watch out for that. What are startups here for? The startups are here to do things differently, to create a unique ecosystem where people are able to do things faster, quicker, give quality, create new values, and in the process, have valuation for the companies, hence the birth of the unicorns. Is it a bed of roses as far as the startup journey is concerned? Obviously not. 20 years ago, when I started my startup journey, giving up what I termed as a high-flying job as an investment banker and a CEO, people thought I was mad. They were telling me, are you crazy? And trust me, in my journey, when I left South Bombay, where I was given an apartment by the organizations where I worked for, and moved to central Mumbai, People thought I was crazy. And they said, is this the right way to go about it? Because you're thinking of getting into a startup. You become a chef, a bottle washer, a cook, and the CEO of your company. And nobody is there to respect you. What they said was right. I didn't realize that initially. When I shifted from South Mumbai to Central Mumbai, I had two ardent supporters for me, my wife and my daughter. Both excited. My wife saying, GR, go ahead and do what you feel is the best for you. I trust you. My daughter squealing with happiness, saying that you'll give me more time, as you've always done before, and now you'll do it more in the future. When I was in the corporate world, we had people coming to meet me, lining outside my cabins for an appointment. As the capital markets have been active, will be active, and you do have people coming to you to meet you because you're giving business to them. Hard fact of life, when you have powers, people pay obeisance to you. And when you're out of power, people fail to recognize you. Sometimes I tingle with mortification when I look back, going to the same Taj Mahal hotel in Colaba and trying to reach out to a famous broker saying, how are you? The answer I received was, GR, everything is fine. Now, what are you doing? I said that, well, I am into the field of startups. And immediately the body language changed. I'm so busy. It's a pleasure meeting you, quote unquote. And can we meet some other time? Do give me a call or do give a shout to my secretary and take an appointment from her. The very same gentleman who used to wait outside my cabin. The power of the chair. When you're a CEO of a large organization and you have the trappings of power and infrastructure added to it, people follow you. Not necessarily for your competence, more importantly, for the power you wield and the business that you give. Enter the big new world of startups. And what you see is you only face challenges of the highest order. When you are in a startup, trust me, when you want to recruit people, you don't get the best people because you bootstrap the company and you have less in hand. And as a result, you're trying to tell the potential employee that we will give you a great environment. It'll be only a need-based hierarchy. All of us will be partners. Why don't you join us? And the employee says, hey, listen, I need so much of salary, otherwise I can't join you. And sometimes I wondered whether I am interviewing the employee or the employee is interviewing me. And the strange feeling used to encompass me that maybe in a startup, I am actually dependent on the employee to say yes to me rather than me saying a yes to him or her. How strange. But how ironical and true is this, even in today's world? There was a time as a CEO, my tickets used to be booked by my secretary. My boarding and lodging in 5-star suites used to be taken care of. A limousine used to await me at the airports. And my paychecks, shall I use the word, I was indifferent to it, a bit arrogant, in the sense I never bothered about my paychecks, which are getting banked into my account, hefty paychecks. And there came a stage in my life when I used to tremble thinking about the first of every month because I had to give paychecks. Once upon a time, I was receiving paychecks. And there came a time when I had to give paychecks. And the employees Even if they didn't perform, they used to say, we need a paycheck, we have our EMIs, we have our commitments, you pay us the money. If you got getting delayed, not our problem. Hence, the first cardinal principle in a startup, trust me, friends, is getting the right people on board. You need to have a team of like-minded people, and you cannot be a one-man or a one-woman army to run a startup. It's dangerous. As they say, one is a lonely number, and you don't get better as the startup struggles. You only get worse. So you need to be having co-founders with you when you're into a startup. And if the startup has to scale, you need to have a product which is not only different and unique, but which can have what I term as the customer pull. Your research has to be very powerful. And you need to have what I've always felt as having the differentiation. You need to be very clearly able to differentiate your product from the others. The third important thing in a startup is don't have people who are there for an employment. They should be there with you in terms of the growth journey, the exciting journey, the challenges that are there, and they need to be like-minded, but not clones of yours. You need people with complementary skill sets. If I'm good in finance and strategy and execution, I need a person who's good in marketing or sales or technology. We cannot have replicas of ourselves, then the startup will not take off. I remember very clearly when I set up Gold's Gym in the country for the first time. I was a guy from the finance world. The financial markets for me was like a fish to water. But when it came to fitness, that F word was something new to me. In a lighter vein, everyone knows the F word. And I was honestly not having an idea about what is fitness. But then I dug deep into it and wanted to become an expert in the fitness industry, and hence started leading Gold Gym from the front with a team of people who are built from within. Normally, when you want to set up a startup, we think of having people joining us from various walks of life. But the problem that you'll have is that these people may not necessarily be the right people because they come with history and they talk about history. You need youngsters who can think with you in a disruptive manner. They can bring in creative disruption. They can think differently. And more importantly, they are with you in the go-to-market strategy. When you bootstrap the company, you have only so much money, and you need to be very confident of your idea and your product. And hence, having the elevator pitches and going to the angel investors or the private equity guys for growth capital, you need to be very clear that you have a team of people. I remember once when I was part of a jury, when I had a startup coming to me, where they were into drone manufacturing, micro drones from IIT Mumbai. While they were very good at technology, these youngsters, when it came to numbers, the answer was that we are profitable. When we asked them what are the numbers, they said, my CA will tell you. When the CA came to talk to us in an elevator pitch, mind you, my friends, you have only 3 minutes on that. It was very clearly fathomable that the CA had a different view. The chartered accountant very clearly said, we are not doing well, we don't have money, and we may close down if we don't get money in the next 1 week. And there erupted an argument between the entrepreneur and his chartered accountant. Not a nice sign. Hence, the moral of the lesson here is that you need to have a team with you where the finance guy is there with you, the technology guy is there with you, your vision is there with you, and all of you are thinking alike, have one goal, may have different thoughts, but the mission is to reach that goal. The paths, you all may argue, debate, but conclude in the end that this will be the path for our success story. Again, in a startup, we need to understand that a product may be good from our point of view. Do we have a go-to-market strategy which very clearly indicates that yes, we are able to pierce the customer? After all, even in today's world, the customer is king. We can have a great product, but if we are not able to touch the customer's heart, we cannot sell the product. I have always felt that our startup entrepreneurs are great in creating products, but they fear going to the market. We are not very good at packaging our products. We are not good at selling it well. And we have the fear of the unknown. Hence, I've always seen that entrepreneurs are more comfortable going to raise money rather than selling. In my opinion, a startup entrepreneur will be successful when he sells well and then he goes to raise money. Secondly, a very important aspect as far as startup entrepreneurs are concerned is rewards versus awards. There's a very important aspect that we have to keep in mind. Startups are always looking out for awards from different organizations, and they say we have received these trophies saying that we are a great tech company, we have a great product with us. But when we ask them further, what is the revenue? They say we are in beta testing, or we are in version 2 of the product. Version 1 has not been sold, my friends, but we are into version 2. It doesn't work. We need to go to the market. Even if we fail, no problems. Failure is never a negative in my dictionary. I call myself a successful failure. Why so? For the simple reason that I have succeeded in 9 startups, failed in 3. And one of the startups which I set up was a juice company, natural juices. By the time I started this juice company, I had about 100 Gold Gym franchises in about 60 cities in India. And my simple thought process was that, hey, I'll set up these juice centers in the Gold Gym premises, and pronto, I'll be successful. When I set up these outlets in the Gold Gym centers, where the creme de la creme of the society was coming to work out, the first day the sales was phenomenal, and everybody said, hey, you're a great guy, man. What a revolutionary idea. Natural juices. After workout, it'll be a killer. And I was also gloating in the so-called success on day 1. But my celebration was a bit premature. The next day, the sales came down to 1/10 of what happened on the first day. And the third day, it was hardly about 200 or 300 rupees per outlet. Where did I go wrong? I didn't do a research about the consumer preferences. I didn't understand the Indian psyche. I thought that I've got a great product in hand, I've got the outlets, I have the distribution channels, and hence the sales will automatically happen because the customers are coming every day. I made the biggest mistake. I didn't get into a research-based approach. And in the process, what happened to me was I didn't understand the tastes and preferences of the customer. Indian customers do not prefer juices as a way of life or having it with breakfast. we prefer our chai or our coffee. South Indians more so the filter coffee. And I had missed that completely. Hence, when the workouts were finished, the clients were more inclined to take water and rush out rather than having natural juices, which took a little bit of time to prepare. I didn't understand the psyche. I didn't gauge the pulse well, and hence I had a failure in hand, and I had to wound up the juice centers and incurred a loss. I call myself a successful failure. Success and success and success and failure. That's what I am. I'm a successful failure because I learned from this. And in my next venture, I ensured that I do deep market research before I launch my product to be successful. Friends, the idea of a startup has to be, in today's world, it's a product which you are going to be giving in the market, which is unique and differentiated. Second, it has to be tech-driven. Without a tech base in hand, you're virtually dead. Third, we have to embrace the modern day technology that is taking place, and you need to be abreast of the changes. It could be AI, it could be ML, it could be NFTs, or it could be metaverse. We need to embrace them because the world is changing fast, and change for all of us is an inspiring constant, more so in the startup ecosystem. And if we want to raise funds, we need to be growth oriented. You'll be very, very interested to note that when I pitched for Arai Robotics as one of my latest startups, what the private equity guys wanted was, would you be able to grow your company by 50% per month in terms of customer acquisition? 50% growth of customers every month. That means 600% growth of customers in a year. Tall order. They said, we don't give a damn to your losses. What people are looking for is customer acquisition, which has become the overriding criteria. But that cannot be the be all and end all of a startup. We need to also be looking at making profits, and we cannot be fashionable in saying we have a huge cash burn. Yes, Amazon had a cash burn for 17 years. Ola, Uber, Zomato, Swiggy, all of them have been having losses, but yes, they've had big funding power and they could be loss leaders. All startups cannot be loss leaders because we have only so much of money, and money is a constraint for all of us. We need to be having a clear thought that we'll have so much for bootstrapping. We need to, as quickly as possible, turn around the corner. And finally, as far as startups are concerned, we need to scale up or sell, or else you can't be surviving in this game. If you want to survive, you need to become a leader quickly. And that's how the startup story will be successful for you. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I have only 3 words to sum it up. First and foremost, imbibe the startup culture, inculcate it in your system with your other co-workers and your co-founders, and above all, implement, because to me, whatever you have as ideas, if they are not implemented and executed in a timeline, they remain merely on paper, and hence you end up as a startup which had potential but didn't make it big, or didn't make the profits, or didn't create a niche for itself. We have to be very clear that today's world in which we live, we have to move pretty quickly. We need to bring in speed, and we need to be fast and furious in our approach, at the same time not lose our goal and be technology driven, connect with the IoT of things, and be fearless in exploring the startup world, because courage and conviction, along with a leap of faith in your ability, is what will take you to the top. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great environment. Startup is where one should be. And if we are doing businesses, networking surely will be bringing networks, and you create value, your companies will have valuation. And I wish you guys all the very best in your endeavors in the startup world. Thank you very much. ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, thank you so much, GR. Amazing. You put in a lot of energy in all of us, and thanks for sharing. I've made notes, for all these pointers, and I'll be sharing with everyone in the audience as well. uh, we can open it for Q&A, and guys, you can collect your thoughts. I think some of the pointers which GR has shared, that are implementable within our businesses as well, not necessarily that we are startups, but we can start to think from the angle, from the point of view of a startup, that how can we bring those changes into our business, within our teams, and how do we deliver that value by leveraging on the technology as well, as GR spoke about. So, GR, I have few questions, and by the time people
Surely.
they want to ask anything, uh, would you like to share a little bit about your journey of starting Gold Gym, as you briefly touched upon that you started and no idea about fitness, and then you got into that, made Gold Gym one of the biggest franchisee in this vertical in India. So, any specific learnings from that, and how did you go about expanding it to so many cities in India?
Jaspreet, the biggest learning when I set up Gold Gym was A, you need to be unique. B, you need to be different. So when I came back from Venice after getting the master franchisee license, the only thought that occupied my mind is, how am I going to be different? Talwalkar was running gyms of 2,000 square feet. We decided we'll do two things differently. A, we will create gyms of 15,000 or 20,000 square feet. First time. And imagine setting up gyms of 15 and 20,000 square feet in a city like Mumbai. And that too in South Mumbai. Cost a bomb. So that was the first part. Second, we started a process known as pre-sales. My idea, which I came about with, was this was pretty unique even for the guys abroad. We decided that before we open the gym, we will do the sales. So the day the gym is open, I had 1,000 members coming to the gym for a workout.
Okay.
And I didn't sell. What I used to do is, all of us, including me, we used to wear the Gold Gym t-shirts, go to Priyadarshini Park, stand there for about 15 days before the gym had started, giving each person there who's coming for a walk or run. One day I used to give an apple. The second day I used to give an orange. The third day I used to give them a banana, and repeat it for the whole 15 days. Never asking them for any business.
Uh-huh.
When they asked us a question, our simple response was, sir, ma'am, we love you to be healthy. Okay. So they used to ask us, when is a gym coming? So we used to say that Gold Gym is going to be operational in the next 1 month. That was a way of marketing which helped us in positioning a brand. And people started loving the differentiation that we brought on the table. That was very, very important. You were trying to sell something in a very different and unique manner. And second thing which we realized was, we never went for equipment from China or Taiwan. We went for equipment from Europe, especially America. That was another difference. And then we used to have what I call as virtual walkthroughs. Before the gym was operational, we had a 3D of how a gym will look like. We used to play these on a projector, and when the construction was going on, people could come to the gym and observe how the gym will be looking like. Now, these were differentiators. And mind you, each of the gyms I set up, we used to have 700, 800,000 people enrolled. And you'll be also pleasantly surprised to hear, I should recover my whole project cost through pre-sales.
Wow. That's really, yeah.
So I didn't have money to put in at the end of the day. That was smart financial engineering, so to say. So that was how I took a Gold Gym to a different level. I had a document storage company known as Safe House. Now, in those days, Crown, P and Writer, recall, Iron Mountain, everybody was there. We still decided, me and a few of my friends, we decided we'd start a document storage company, and everybody said, are you mad? These biggies are there. And what we did was very different. We were just telling people that you store files in premises in South Mumbai, which are very costly, 350 per square feet is the rental you pay to store your files. And what we did was, we took up 200,000 square feet in Bhiwandi. And you'll not believe it. Those days, it was not even going for any price. And we took it at 2 rupees per square.
Okay.
And what we told the clients was that we'll have a 24-hour turnaround time in which you get your files or your documents brought to you. We'll capture it. We will keep it in electronic format, as well as the originals will be there. And very, very interestingly, we became profitable from year one because our rentals were negligible. And in the end, we could sell the same company to Iron Mountain. Fortunately, being an investment banker, I could do the deal as an investment banker wearing that hat too. Now, this was a very interesting thing. Similarly, I did to Karox. Karox was a technology training company, and we had only two biggies then, NIIT and Aptech. Now, we couldn't compete with them. I had only one way to go about it. I couldn't go to US and UK. We decided we'd go to Africa. And surprisingly, we took those places, even those countries which I'd never heard of. My geography became much better after that. Trust me. I didn't know there is a country like Rwanda. I didn't know there is a country like, honestly speaking, that how is Ethiopia working? I thought it's a very poor country and it will not be able to afford it. I was wrong. Then I went to Ghana. Then I went to Sudan. And you'll not believe it. People were willing to pay, all want to learn technology. We expanded in Africa in such a big way. And later, we sold it to Lumis Partners. Narottam Sheksaria had just sold Gujarat Ambuja, and he had set up a private equity fund. They bought us, lock, stock, barrel, for a handsome valuation. Now, these were unique models because your global strategy was different. We went to Africa instead of going to America or to UK. Now, for me, technology is important, but what is more important is your strategy. And in India, the go-to-market strategy is where all of us fail. And I am very critical when startups and others, the MSCs and other MSMEs, go for awards instead of having customers as rewards. I have this major issue with me, Jaspreet. I always keep on telling people, don't tell me I've received so many awards. I get scared because I'm 99% sure that your revenue is almost negligible.
Right.
So that is where I come from.
Okay, great. So one last question, and then we'll open it for the audience. So can you elaborate a little bit for the benefit of our community members? What do you really mean by go-to-market strategy? If we have to break it down on 3 or 4 simple steps, this is what it should be, and that could be applicable for all the businesses as well, not only for the startups.
Absolutely. No, it is applicable for everyone. First, you need to be research oriented. Understand the consumer well, understand your target market well. We are not spending sufficient time to know what are the preferences of the consumer. If you think that the consumers don't know their preferences, can you create a felt need in the consumer saying that we are bringing a new product? Maybe you guys don't know, but you will love it for these reasons. Would you be buying it? In India, we don't get into research in an organized, structured manner. That's why if you look at it, we don't have a product company in this country till date. We are all service-oriented. We don't have patents in India. We are all process-driven. Very clear. Second, I feel is, when I say go to market, do a proper beta testing and go for the first version and go to the market and check whether this version is selling before you say that I'm on to my second version. The tech guys are guilty of going to the version 2 even before version 1 has succeeded. They're confusing issues, and then they say we need money for version 2. Why? What happened to version 1 or to your first product? It could be any sector. It could be a small scale, it could be a medium enterprise, but we need to ensure that the product is tested. Third, in the go-to-market strategy, don't fear failure. I think we get overwhelmed with failure. We need to know that failure is part and parcel of our life in the business world. And that's not wrong. Let's not feel bad about it. We are not committed a crime, for God's sake. People didn't like our product doesn't mean it's the end of the road for us. I failed and failed pretty intensely, not once, not twice, more than thrice. I set up iDesserts thinking that I'll be totally vegan, and nobody loved my cakes. I had to close it down. I thought I was a very smart guy. I thought Indian population, vegetarian population, I'll capture them. I'm a brilliant guy with great ideas, technology oriented, all the stuff I did. In the end, I found that no one wanted my cakes. I lost money, but I learned a lot because I'd taken the consumer for granted, thinking that I'll give a new taste, they'll like it. I couldn't become a Hershey's overnight.
Right.
Wrong on my part. But we have to test when I talk about go-to-market, I repeat it, please don't take your customer for granted. The customer is very discerning. They may not be speaking to you, but they understand very well, and it is in their hands to make or break. That's where I feel the go-to-market strategy is very, very critical before you can completely launch your product. Yeah. You need to be research-driven. Simple, Jaspreet, you have to be research-driven. And we don't do it.
We go on gut. Yeah.
Yes. No, I'm not saying don't go on gut. Business is on gut. But I had this a friend of mine I had, when I used to sit in Las Vegas in the casino, and I used to tell him that I brought about $500, so if I burn it today, it's okay. He used to tell me, no, my dad has told me we should not gamble. But I told him in business, you have gambled. And you're telling me to apply risk management in a casino. I'm going to lose only $500. And in business, you go by gut. Not done, my friend. And that's what I was telling him. Here, I will go by gut in a casino because I've come here for entertainment. In a business, I'll not go by gut. I'll go by research and leap of faith and some amount of gut and gumption. I have the risk-taking ability, yes, but that doesn't mean it's all risk and no research.
Yeah.
Not done.
Right. Great. So, anybody who has any questions, you can raise the hand. And Navneet, you go ahead. And in the meantime, please raise your hand, and then, we can ask GR about that. Yeah, Navneet, go ahead, please.
Yeah, very good morning, sir. My name is Navneet, and we are into trophies and awards manufacturing company. So we make customized gifts as well. Sir, my question is that you have said that we should go by research, right? I'm not able to relate my product with any sort of research. So how should anything comes in your mind just at the instant that how should we?
No, you're actually, fortunately, you're into trophies which you give, and those awards you give, the other guys take those awards, and then they think they've done sales. So that part of the story, you're in a good space. But what I'm telling is, when you're giving trophies, when you're manufacturing trophies, the point should be that, are you different the way you have a theme for the trophies? Are the people who are going to give the awards really credible, or your trophies are given in a mass instead of a class? You need to have that differentiation brought into you. And these trophies which you're giving, can you be restricted to being local, or can you go global? And why? Because you bring a special expertise where in the global firmament, you can make a difference and say, you guys need this type of trophy to be given for this type of industry. If you could customize trophies relating to the industries in which they are, instead of just giving a general thing without a theme-based approach in the trophies, I find them to be meaningless.
Yeah, so that's my actually it's my USP that we are into customized trophy manufacturing.
Wonderful.
So it's you name any industry, and we start thinking that how we can relate. Suppose it's an aeroplane, it's a aerospace company, so we'll make a plane. If it's a shipping industry, we will make a. So that's our USP basically. So I'm just I have a good database. I have a good customer base pan India. I have a reseller base as well as we do into few of the.
Navneet, now I'll be suggesting only one thing.
Yes, sir.
Your trophy selling, you have to convert it to NFTs.
Okay.
That's the new world. And create the difference that this trophy, which was done crafted, is different. The NFT that is created is valuable for you all. Create the NFT, create a platform, create the uniqueness, and show them how this trophy is going to be permanently etched in the minds of people and will be forever there in the cloud platform. The earlier trophies were brick and mortar that would gather dust. These are trophies that's also going to be shining example of something which will live forever in history. You need to bring the NFT part of it into your trophies. Again, you'll be unique.
We have to present it to my customers.
Yes, and say you create NFTs and do the BTS, the behind the scenes, how the trophy was created, when it was created, how you're brainstorming, create a story behind it.
Okay. That's lovely.
That's how you go ahead from your brick and mortar to the technology world. Humble.
Okay. Wow, that's a wonderful introduction. Thank you.
My pleasure.
That's one idea, Navneet. Now you can definitely take it up and start working on that. So probably your day is made. Yeah. Great. Yeah, Neena ji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Gopalakrishnan. I think it was really, really an amazing thing. I've written down the 8 points that you have mentioned, from research to technology to marketing and sales. And I looked, as I was listening to you, I was also looking within, that great at ideas, but take the customer for granted. कि उसको ये चाहिए ही होगा. So now I'm into the space of education and specifically early childhood education.
Okay.
And I was into a physical space, which I have closed down. So I want to now move more into a virtual space wherein I prepare product as a content-driven product for early childhood education, which could be for upskilling of the educators. It could be for parents. It could also be for the thing. But now, as you rightly said, there's been not any research gone into it. It's my 18-20 years of experience, which I felt had worked wonders with children. And that's what I want to bring it into this product.
I think you're in the age of technology, Neena.
Yeah.
So you may have to sometimes unlearn and relearn. We have been in for 18 to 20 years in a particular way of delivering to the customers. In the age of technology, you'll have to change. You need to understand how the customer is going to be excited. If I were you in the field of education, I'll get into metaverse.
Sorry?
I'll get into metaverse. I'll get into 3D animated visuals, which are teaching the people. And I'll get into AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, to help me with robotic applications to make the education more interesting, visually delightful, and less of human intervention. Human intervention being there only when necessitated by a complex problem. Create a visually appealing scenario. Technology provides you that platform today. All that I'm saying is add that to your physical intervention instead of physical interference.
Yeah. So now there's not going to be physical, but when I say virtual, it will be more through videos. But here I just have one concern being an educationist, that true education is only when you engage, because I'm also seeing the impact of these animated versions on children today. You know, what is going to happen 15 years later? If I'm talking of sun, I'm not showing them the sun, but I'm only showing them the animated. Children are addicted to these visuals. I mean, I have 3 grandsons with me in the family. I think the realistic education is going. So I want to merge the realistic bit in using technology.
Absolutely. What you do, what is termed as O2O, online to offline and vice versa.
Yes.
You need to marry the two.
Correct.
Because you can't be doing it in isolation. That's my only request.
Yeah.
Because the moment you're doing in isolation, you're making a mistake. But human intervention is needed for sure. But what I would request is do it in a very, very judicial manner. Because today, whatever we say, EdTech sector is growing by leaps and bounds. And that's because of the technology. People are saying very clearly, even government schools can be changed. And they're talking about the tuition fees being almost negligible, and the CSR element can be brought in, where the government schools also can have the same education, because the corporates which are well endowed, are profitable, can give the money out of the CSR and then create a pool whereby even the municipal schools can benefit from the EdTech world of technology. So to my mind, it has the pluses, but as you rightly stated, we have to overcome the minuses, because then it's only tech driven. That's not right. We need to ensure that there is a judicious blend of the two. So that I call it as a blended learning track of online and offline that should be brought into the system.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Neha ji. Yeah, Neha, please go ahead.
Hi, Jia. Good morning. Jia,
Morning.
I have a question. Like many of us already have, a set business wherein we are doing a particular turnover and already we have a product with us. Now we are already doing well, but how research could help us to get it to the next level? Like what sort of research for the current product we could do so that we could take it to the next level?
Question, Neha, is the definition of doing well. Being profitable and going at a steady pace is doing well means you're already satisfied. Then you're not growth oriented. Trust me, when an organization is not growth oriented, you're not doing well. When you're growth oriented, you need to grow either from a product perspective, or from a geography perspective, or from a reach and scale perspective. Scale, size, reach, geography, product differentiation. Are you growing in all the parameters? If you're not grown in that, you're not growing, you're profitable. You've made it a lifestyle product and you're saying, I'm already retired. You're tired and retired. Not done. What I would say is that growth has to be an inspiring feature in the company's journey. The moment you stop growing, honestly, I'll tell you, in the long run, we are dead, because competitors will overtake you. Today, it may sound a little bit too early when I say these words. Also, when I'm profitable, how can you say that I will be not surviving? But if you look at history, start with the Ford Motor Company. Today, everybody is crying hoarse that Elon Musk and Tesla are having a market cap much more than all the automobile companies put together in the world. Now, is he so different? They say we also have electric cars, but he's a disruptor. And he's looking at growth in more ways than one. So honestly, if you don't grow, you will perish. And you'll have to use, in the modern day world, technology. I'll keep on repeating it. Without technology, you're going to be dead. Trust me on that. Even if you're old school business, you need to bring in technology to become new age. That is an inevitable requirement of the modern day world.
Right.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Neha. And again, a special thanks to Neha for inviting JR for our meeting today. So guys, I would extend a big thank you to GR from all of us at BANC, and thank you so much, GR, for sharing your thoughts, opinions, and experiences with all of us. That have really made us much richer today. And some of the takeaways, we're going to implement that, as you mentioned in one of your pointers, that until unless you implement things, you'll never test
The
it
key
out.
is execution, Jaspreet.
Yeah. Right.
And I would always recommend, please, all of you, if you find time, buy my book of my startup journey.
Sure, definitely. I'm going to.
It will give you a glimpse on what was a startup world for me. Tough, yet challenging, yet exciting, yet inspiring.
Right. Definitely. And I'm very much looking forward to catch up in person as well, while I'm in Mumbai. So we'll set up a time with you and, take the.
It will be a pleasure. Thank you so much once again.
Right.
And it was a pleasure interacting with you all. Thank you once again.
Thank
All
you.
the
Thank
best.
you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.